Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Derrick Brooks for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, DeCalen Brooks.
Thank you. Well, first of all, give honor to God for having us here on this grandest of grandest stages. I stand here so humble to be amongst all this greatness. And tonight, I guess for the first time in my life, I get a chance to sit back and enjoy some of the successes of my individual career in the ultimate team game. When we just unveiled that bus, it just realized to me that, man, this is what it's all about. There's no higher place to go in this game, and I thank you guys. And I tell you now, I promise you, now that I'm a part of this team, it's going to be a better team because I'm going to work my butt off to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame better than I'm a part of. Again, I want to thank DeCalen for that wonderful introduction. You did a fabulous job. I'm so proud of your son, and this day is just a bigger part of you than it is me. Well, I want to take a moment now, as I start my thank you letter, to say thank you to Pensacola, Florida, and everybody that came up here from Pensacola. We are definitely in the house. Thank you to all our Tampa Bay fans that traveled from Tampa to share in this day. Thank you, guys. Next, I want to move along and thank my beautiful wife, Carol. I can't say nothing to you in front of all these people that I've said before, but 3 words: I love you. And my other 3 kids, start with my other son, Derrick, Brianna, and Dania. Thank you, guys. I love you, and I'm very proud to be your father. I want to take this time to obviously thank a few other members of my family that's been here. I can't say all you guys' name, but I want you guys to stand up and take your bow, because without your support, I would not be here today. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Derrick Brooks family. You guys stand up and take your bow. Thank you. To my brothers, Anthony, Chevy, Melvin, all my family from Cleveland, I love you guys. Uncle Robert, thank you, Mitch. Again, this day is all about you guys. I love you too. When you hear all these things that's being said about you, man, I tell you what, it's hard to be humble. You know, your greatness here, your greatness there, you never miss a game. But I tell you what, I always and will be a very humble man. And that's because of 3 people in my life that are no longer here today in person. But these 3 people meant the world to me. Starting off with my grandmother, Martha Brooks, patriarch in our family. This lady held it down on the east side of Pensacola, believe me. Next, I'll start my stepfather, A.J. Mitchell. This man through a 6th grade education, worked his butt off to provide for our family. He was a man of very few words, but when he spoke loudly. And I tell you, Dad, as you're looking down upon us, I thank you for whipping me in front of my 5th grade class to get my life together. Because I think about it, if you didn't love me enough to whip me, no telling where I was going to be. And next, I can't thank this lady enough, Geraldine Brooks Mitchell. The lessons that this lady taught me, she's a very special athlete in her own right, but she was pregnant with me in her senior year in college, me a senior in high school. And as she graduated high school, she wasn't able to go and pursue her career in college as a basketball player, but she supported me in no other way possible that words can't explain. This lady was the #1 tailgater. I tell you what, from Pee Wee League all the way to Tampa Bay, nobody partied harder than Geraldine Brooks Mitchell. Her love and spirit always stand upon me. And she taught me this lesson. She said, never let me ever hear you toot your own horn because you make one sound. But if everybody else is talking about you, that sound is forever. You got me to do all the talking in the party, and you just shut up and go do what you got to do. So, Mom, I know you don't hear, but I thank you. And I know you and my dad are enjoying this time in heaven. I miss you both. Among many other lessons, as I said before, they always taught me to think about others. And guys, I want to take you through my football journey in Pensacola, Florida, with a few thank yous. It started on the field of Carolina Baby Rattlers on the east side of 12th and Booby Street. And the Baby Rattlers, we were bad, especially when Emmett left the Myrtle Grove team on the west side, we really became bad. And we got all our revenge, trust me. But it's the coaches there, the Baby Rattlers, that really taught me how to work hard. So I want to take a moment to thank, first of all, David Sankfield. This man's a very special man. Next, Coach John Harris, Danny Williams, and T.C. Welch. Thank you guys. You guys set a foundation of hard work in me that I continue to build on. My next step in my football journey took me to Booker T. Washington High School of Pensacola, Florida, home of the Wildcats. I'd like to thank Jimmy Nichols, who before becoming my head coach was Emmitt Smith's offensive coordinator. I want to thank you, Coach Nichols, for pushing me to be the Emmitt Smith of defense. Thank you, Coach Nichols. Next, I saw him as I was walking in. I want to thank Steve Williams. Steve tried to dampen my high school baseball career, and I thank you, Coach, for sitting me on the bench for every game, even though you knew I was the best player. I appreciate you getting my mind focused on football and with my mother's support. So, Coach Williams, I thank you for benching me in baseball, even though you know I was a really good player. And Coach David Wilson, there's so much, Coach, I can say. But you and your wife, Tammy, it boils down to thank you. Thank you for your guidance, and more importantly, thank you for your lifelong friendship. You guys mean the world to me. Two more people I'd like to thank from Pensacola, Washington was two principals, first being Sherman Robinson and Elvin McCorvey. These two young men, as I like to call them, set a standard for me to get me to understand that I was in a position to be a role model. And I had to take that responsibility with a great deal of seriousness, and all my decisions matter. So I thank Mr. Robinson and Mr. McCorvey for talking to me about life beyond the grass of Booker T. Washington High School in my decision making. For the next leg of my journey, I didn't have to go far by choosing Florida State University. That's right, the 2013 national champions, Florida State Seminoles. Man, when I think about this the other day, as far as the state of Florida, I'm the only player that's sitting here to play his entire career in the state of Florida, from Pee Wee to college to pro and to where I live now. So it gives me a moment to thank all of Florida. And guys, Florida is a great place to live. It's just not a great place to visit, and it's more than just the beaches. in South Beach of Miami. It's about Pensacola, Florida tonight. To my FSU family, all my relationships there, I'd like to start off with thanking Billy Reardon, my team mom. Thank you for helping me transition into college. We all know you bleed green and gold. And Ms. Reardon, thank you very much. As you like to say, you was my mother's sister she didn't know about. Next, I'd like to thank my roommate, Devin Bush, my first Doom, holding it down to 202. Thank you, man. We pushed each other to be the best, and I thank you for your friendship now. Bobby Bowden, the best ever in my book to coach college football. You not only taught us about that gridiron, but you taught us about keeping our priorities in order. And Coach Bowden, I know you're watching, thank you. And you had the best halftime speech I've ever heard. Whenever the defense and the team was leading, you come in and say, defense, if they don't score, we win. And we go out and play. Thank you, Coach Bowden. Next, a very special man, not only myself, but you heard about him a few years ago with Deion Sanders, Coach Mickey Andrews. Man, you talk about mental toughness. You talk about gain through strain, pain is temporary, hard work is forever. Coach Andrews, I'd like to thank you for every gasser, every stadium, let's just say every motivational speech that wasn't a positive. I'd like to thank you for that mental toughness. My linebacker coach my first 2 years, Wally Burnham, I'd like to thank you for instilling in me to believe in the triangle read. I teach it today to my son. Thank you, and trust my instincts. Jim Gladden, you taught me about being consistent. And football is a bottom line business. Either you make the play or you don't. Coach, I'd like to think I've made the play throughout my career. And to laugh at yourself while you're doing it. Thank you, Coach Gladden. For all my Florida State teammates, I know some of you guys are here, we was together last night. You guys, please take a stand and be honored by this crowd. All you guys, stand up. Henry, Rob, Sean, E-Mac, JD, Reggie, T-Buck. I love you guys, man. Tired Marion, class of 91. So far, I told you guys I got people that have been part of my career, but tonight I'm here because of what I did in the pros, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And believe me, all these guys I just told you about played a big role in my success of getting to the league. But now as I turn the page, I'd like to continue my thank you letter with people that influenced me. That was a big part of why I'm here today. First off, I'd like to recognize our first Hall of Famer for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, his first ever draft pick, the late, great Mr. Leroy Selman. Leroy set a standard back in 1996 as the first draft pick, and to be inducted into our rookie year in 1995. I'm glad I was around to see that, and he was around to see us and mold us. And Leroy set the standard, and we're just trying to walk the path that he set for us today. Next, I'd like to recognize the organization's second Hall of Famer, my draft classmate of 95, my roommate, my teammate, Mr. Personality like no other, but I wouldn't trade you in for another brother, my man, Warren Sapp. People don't understand how we're so opposite, but yet we're so the same. We get along, and I simply tell them it's not their business, it's God's. I love you, man, and you know I wouldn't be standing here without you. Thank you, Warren. It could be very, very intimidating when your head coach, as 2 second-year players call you in his office and tell you he expects you to be the Joe Green and Jack Ham of this defense. It could be very intimidating. But Warren and I looked at each other. We accepted that challenge. We asked them how many Pro Bowls did they go to. Coach Dungy gave us a number and said, let's go get it. and who knows, we'd have been here today in the Hall of Fame as their teammates. Man, it's a beautiful journey. Warren, we had some great guys along the way. We didn't do it by ourselves. And I want to take a moment to recognize some special teammates that's here today. I can't say everybody's name, but I'm going to call out a few that meant a lot. Starting out with Mike Allstott, A-Train. Mike, I appreciate the hard work, man, behind the scenes. Lifting weights, running each other, challenge each other before dark, man, before everybody got in the building. I appreciate it, Mike, and, man, I appreciate your friendship today. Next, I'd like to thank the right foot of Martine Gramatica. Without Martine, there's a lot of games we won 9-3, 6-2, 12-9, and Martine kicking 52-yard field goals. So Martine Gramatica, I know you're home watching, man. Thank you for that right foot. Next, I'd like to thank Brian Kelly. BK, we held it down, man. We had some hand signals that none of the coaches knew about, and they always asked us on Monday what we were doing, and we just said, trust us. And we made a lot of plays in that cover too, man. So thank you, BK, for your friendship. Thank you for traveling here today. Next, I'd like to thank my man, Jeff Gooch. Jeff Gooch, I value your friendship, man, more than anything. And it's a privilege I get to work with you now in our current roles side by side. Thank you for your support. Next, I'd like to move on to Mr. Longevity, as I like to call him, Rondé Barber. Rondé, I thank you for Rondé, we made a lot of plays together. And you just hung around just long enough, man, to break most of my Buccaneer records, but that's all right. Hopefully in a few short years, man, your consistency will be rewarded. So Rondé, I want to thank you. Another special teammate, the man with the most exotic, the most weirdest, but yet the most elegant vocabulary I've ever heard, Simeon Rice. Simeon, just know, man, you're one of the best, if not the best, pass rushers of my generation. And I just want to thank you for choosing Tampa when you was a free agent to make our defense complete. Thank you, Simeon. Next, I'd like to thank two of my linebackers that was in the room with me when I was a rookie. These two young men set the professional stage for me, and many of you guys probably competed against them. But Hardy Nickerson and Lonnie March, can't say enough about what you guys did in helping turning our franchise around and teaching us hard work and the persistence of winning. And still today, Hardy, as you can see, I'm still taking notes. And speaking of the best, John Lynch. JL, I can't count the hours, man, we put in perfecting this defense. From spacing, to keys, to knowing landmarks, fit drills, you name it, we did it. And trust me, man, it's up to Warren and I, you'll be here next year delivering your own speech. Thank you, John. My Buccaneer thank you continues on to the support staff. That was an instrumental part, particularly my faith. Doug Gilchrist, thank you. R.B. Brown, thank you for keeping me accountable in my walk. And now, with all my Buccaneer teammates that traveled up from Tampa, it's your time to stand and get recognized, because I appreciate my relationship with you all. Please stand up and let me bow and salute you guys. Take a stand. When you go first, you can take your time. My thank yous continue now, as I want to thank our owner, the late, great Malcolm Glazer. Thank you, Mr. Glazer. Thank you for buying our team in 1995 and not moving us away from Florida. I want to thank you, particularly his wife, Linda, Joel, Brian, Ed. My appreciation and my gratefulness goes out to you guys, and I truly, truly cherish my relationship with your family. Thank you for providing the resources to help turn our franchise around. And again, we're going to stand back and continue to be relevant. I want to next thank two general managers that I played for, Bruce Allen, Rich McKay. Thank you guys. I want to thank you for the leadership of the personnel department during our early years with the Bucs, led by Jerry Angelo and represented today by Mr. Tim Ruskell. Thank you guys, and I must say, on behalf of my family, it was a pleasure doing business with you guys. I certainly want to thank my head coaches, first Sam Weiss, Tony Dungy, my mentor, my friend. Coach, I love you, man. So much of what we do today as grown men are lessons that you taught us. But it all boils down to these 4 words: no excuses, no explanations. Thank you, Coach Dungy. Next, I want to thank my last head coach, John Gruden. Coach, I know you're watching. Thank you, Coach. You was a guy that never slept. You motivated us. Man, you challenged us not only to be good, but be great, be historic, be global. And I thank you for challenging me to be the best and be comfortable with being the greatest and letting everybody know. Thank you for trusting me with the leadership of this team. When we got there, we talked about world championships, but we didn't believe. But Coach Gruden, you got us to believe that we can be world champions if we just scored touchdowns. And by God, we scored the 9 touchdowns that you wanted in this Super Bowl ring. Sit here today represented. Thank you, Coach Gruden. My linebacker coaches, as I move along, I want to thank you guys. Start with Maxie Bond, the current Bucs head coach, Levy Smith. Coach, I love you. You and your family mean the world to me. Joe Barry, Gus Bradley, all 4 of you guys helped me become the player that's standing today that's worthy of wearing this gold jacket. You guys take a piece of this Hall of Fame enshrinement with you. A few more special coaches, Rod Marinelli, Mike Tomlin, Rich Bisaccia, the life coach, Herm Edwards. I thank you guys for influencing me. And finally, Monty Kiffin, my defensive coordinator, 13 of my 14 years. I want to thank you, Monty, for putting a lot of trust in me to run your defense. And as I think about it, I was on the field for 99% of your snaps. I promise you, I'm going to hit you up for that vacation real soon. Man, this game has taught me to believe in relationships. And trust me, everybody that I just talked about, my relationship with you guys are genuine. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be the part of it. And now to talk about who I am, the man, Derrick Brooks, that stand before you as a servant leader. As I said before, as a servant leader, I just want to do the best I can to make something better than it is when I come in touch with it. And I want to work to do that. So in working to do that, as a servant leader, I try to practice a few principles, starting with patience. I try to be patient in my journey, knowing that God has blessed the mission that I'm upon. As a servant leader, I want to exuberate kindness. I want to be kind, treat people how I want to be treated. Thirdly, I want to be committed. I want you guys to know when the Bucs drafted me, I gave them my commitment, I gave my all. And part of that commitment as a servant leader stands before you today. And finally, as a servant leader, I want to go about it with a great deal of humility. Because I believe, as my mother taught me, it's never in a position to toot your own horn. Because humility is, as I once learned, is not thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking of yourself less. And someone also taught me that most people will forget what you say, some will forget what you do, but no one will ever forget how you made them feel. And guys that played with me, ladies and gentlemen, as I go into this Hall of Fame, I want you guys to know that I'm going to do my best to make the Hall of Fame better because God has blessed me to be a part of it. Thank you.